What if the $4 jug of tap water you're about to mix your lawn tonic in is the very thing that kills it? Most folks never suspect the water. They blame the recipe. By the end of our time together today, you'll know the exact kitchen cupboard mixture that can grow your grass up to 3 times thicker than the expensive bag from the garden center. And it costs less than $4. I'll give you the precise recipe, the second ingredient almost everyone forgets, and the timing that makes it actually work. But I'm saving the strangest part for the very end. There's one quiet mistake that can ruin this whole thing, even if you do every other step perfectly. It has nothing to do with the molasses, and almost nobody talks about it. Stay with me, because once you hear it, you'll never mix this tonic the same way again. Let me start with a truth the lawn care aisle would rather you never learned. Your grass does not eat fertilizer. Not really. Not the way the bag wants you to believe. The nutrients your grass actually uses come from the tiny living things in your soil. Bacteria, fungi, millions of them working in the dark beneath your feet. They take organic matter and break it down into a form your grass roots can finally drink up. When that soil is alive and crowded with these little workers, your lawn thrives almost on its own. But when those microbes die off, no bag of fertilizer on Earth can save you. Here's the cruel part. Most synthetic fertilizers are built on salt. They flash your grass green for about 10 days, sure. Underneath, though, that salt is drying out and killing a huge share of the microbes living in the top few inches of your turf. So you get trapped. You feed the lawn, it greens up. The microbes die. The grass fades. And back to the store you go for another bag. Round and round. Now, blackstrap molasses does the opposite. It's the rich, dark syrup left behind after the sugar is pulled out of sugarcane. The sugar leaves, but the good stuff stays. Calcium, magnesium, iron, potassium, sulfur, a whole spread of trace minerals. The very things grass loves. But honestly, the minerals aren't even the main event. The real magic is what those leftover sugars do to your soil bacteria. The moment molasses touches the ground, the microbes go wild. They double. Then they double again, all within a few days. Soil that was barely breathing comes roaring back to life. And this isn't some backyard rumor. The agricultural folks at Texas A&M have published guidance on it. Soil scientists at Cornell and Ohio State have studied these effects for decades. This is plain old soil biology, just buried under years of clever fertilizer ads. Now here's the interesting part. Molasses alone helps. But to get that 3 times thicker result, you need a second ingredient. And most people skip it entirely. Let me give you the base first. You take 1/3 of a cup of blackstrap molasses and stir it into 1 gallon of warm water. Shake it until every bit dissolves. That mix by itself will do your lawn good. But the real explosion comes when you add Epsom salt. Just 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt per gallon. That's all. Epsom salt is really magnesium sulfate, and magnesium is one of the core building blocks of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment that makes grass green in the first place. Without enough magnesium, your grass blades simply cannot make that deep, rich color you're after, no matter how much fertilizer you throw down. The turfgrass folks at Michigan State University have shown that magnesium is one of the most overlooked nutrients in home lawns. Most people have never once thought to add it. And that's exactly why their grass hits a plateau at a so-so green and never goes any deeper. So when you put the molasses and the Epsom salt together, 2 things happen at once. The molasses wakes up and feeds the soil microbes. The Epsom salt floods the grass with the magnesium it's been starving for. Color and thickness, both pushed forward at the same time. We're about halfway through now, and the part I really want you to hear is coming right up. Because there's a third ingredient, and almost every gardening video gets it wrong. That third helper is used coffee grounds. Now, plenty of folks will tell you to scatter coffee grounds across your whole lawn. Unless you're drinking 40 pounds of coffee a week, that's just not possible. So, here's the smarter way. Use your coffee grounds only on the bare patches and the weak spots, the thin places, the spots burned out by sun or chemicals. A light layer over those zones is all you need. Coffee grounds carry about 2% nitrogen, and they break down slowly, adding organic matter right where your soil is hurting most. And here's a tip almost nobody thinks of. Walk into your local coffee shop and ask for their used grounds. They throw away pounds of the stuff every day. Most will happily hand you a 5-gallon bucket for free if you just ask. So the full recipe is simple. 1/3 cup of blackstrap molasses, 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt, 1 gallon of warm water. Shake until it all dissolves. Hook up a hose sprayer and spread it evenly across the lawn. For the weak patches, lay down a little coffee grounds first. Under $4, about 20 minutes of your morning. But the recipe is only half the story. The timing and the method are what actually bring the results. So let me walk you through how to apply it the right way. First, never spray this in the middle of a hot, sunny afternoon. The sun will cook off the good stuff before it ever soaks in. Aim for between 6 and 8 in the morning or after 6 in the evening. The cooler the grass, the better it drinks. Second, mind your soil temperature. The microbes you're feeding only wake up when the top 3 inches of soil reach around 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Down south, you can spray nearly year-round. Up north, your safe window runs from about mid-April through mid-September. Third, water lightly within an hour of spraying. Just a 1/4 inch. You're not trying to wash it away. You're helping it travel from the blades down into the root zone where the microbes actually live. Fourth, frequency. Spray this every 3 weeks during the growing season. For most regions, that's about 6 times a year. Any more often, and the microbes don't get the time they need to finish their work between feedings. Fifth, raise your mower. For cool season grasses like fescue and bluegrass, keep it 3.5 to 4 inches tall. For warm season grasses like Bermuda and zoysia, 2.5 to 3 inches. Taller grass shades the soil, holds moisture, and protects the very microbes you've worked so hard to grow. And sixth, leave your clippings on the lawn. Bagging them is one of the most wasteful habits in modern lawn care. Those clippings give back up to 30% of the nitrogen your lawn needs every year, and they do it for free. Stack all of that together, and you build a soil ecosystem that feeds itself. Each spraying works better than the last because the microbe population grows stronger every time. You'll see the color shift within 7 to 10 days, but real thickness, the kind you feel under your bare feet, takes about 3 to 4 weeks of steady care. Now, before we reach that final mistake I promised, let me cover the common slip-ups, because nearly everyone who tries a homemade tonic stumbles on at least one. The first is using too much, thinking more must be better. Doubling the molasses doesn't double your results. It feeds the bacteria too fast, burns through the oxygen in the soil, and stresses your grass. Stick to 1/3 cup per gallon. Patience always beats intensity here. The second is grabbing the wrong molasses. Regular table molasses is stripped of the minerals that make this work, and sulfured molasses carries preservatives that harm the very bacteria you're trying to save. Look for blackstrap, and look for the word unsulfured right on the label. The third is spraying onto bone-dry, hard-packed soil and hoping for magic. If your ground is rock hard, water it lightly the day before so the surface softens. The mix needs to sink in, not puddle on top. The fourth is quitting too soon. Folks spray once, see no overnight miracle, and walk away. But you're rebuilding a whole living system. The first spray wakes things up. The second multiplies them. By the third and fourth, that's when the real thickening shows. Trust the timeline. 6 sprayings across one season can turn a tired lawn into the thickest one on the street. And now, the mistake I promised you at the very start. The one that can ruin everything, even if you do every other step perfectly. The next one surprised even me. It's the water. The plain water you mix it all in. Most people just grab the garden hose, fill the jug, and mix right there on the spot. And without knowing it, they've sabotaged the whole batch. Here's why. Nearly all city tap water in America carries chlorine and chloramine. These chemicals are added on purpose to kill bacteria and make the water safe to drink. And they're very good at their job. They don't suddenly stop killing bacteria just because you poured the water into your lawn jug. So the same chlorine that cleans your drinking water is now wiping out the soil microbes you just spent $4 trying to feed. The molasses keeps feeding whatever survives, but you've crippled the system before it ever got going. The fix, thankfully, is easy, and you've got two choices. 1. Fill your jug and let it sit out uncovered for at least 24 hours before mixing. The chlorine evaporates into the air on its own. By the next day, the water is safe. 2. Buy a cheap hose filter, usually around $15 at a garden center. Screw it onto your spigot and it strips the chlorine as the water flows through. One filter lasts a whole season. This one little thing is often the whole difference. Between the person who tries this, sees nothing, and gives up in frustration, and the person who ends up with the thickest, greenest lawn on the block. The recipe is the easy part. Protecting those microbes from chlorinated water is the part the big lawn companies will never tell you, because they'd rather this cheap little method never worked for you at all. So there's the whole system. 3 simple kitchen ingredients, 6 sprayings a year, chlorine-free water, light watering after, tall mowing, and clippings left right where they fall. A full season of this costs less than 1 bag of synthetic fertilizer. Now I'm curious about you. Are you growing cool season grass like fescue and bluegrass? Or a warm season grass like Bermuda or zoysia? Tell me down in the comments, because the timing shifts a little depending on which one you've got. I read every reply.